We've been working for a long time on a dream that we've had a museum to put up a work of sculpture, a work of art commemorating the story of the United States colored troops who fought at the historic site. That's where the museum is now, in the battle that led to the fall of Wilmington. And there were 1,600 men who fought there. I get chills just talking about it. We don't right now, as of right now, we don't know what their names were. We don't know their identities. We know some of them, but we don't know all of them. And they were fighting for the Union, but also for the freedom of their families and friends, for their own personal freedom. So this group, I am so thrilled to have all of you here today. Our job is going to be to identify the names, the identities of these 1,600 men, and we would love to incorporate their names in the sculpture. So Devin Kelly is our public historian. She works at the Cape Fear Museum, and she's going to lead us through a training. And I'm recording this, so if there are more people that are interested in helping, I'm going to upload it to YouTube and folks can watch it. She's also made a training manual for us, and she's going to help us to narrow down the research that she's already done to find the 1,600 names of the men who fought at Forks Road. So I'd love it if we could go around and introduce ourselves. I know we're all in different orders on people's screens, which makes it really weird. But Stephen, you're next to me. Can you maybe you can introduce yourself and then pick the person that's next to you on your screen?
Sure. My name is Steve Jones. I'm a teacher at Hoggett High School. I teach AP World History and IB History. And this just seems like a very exciting project. I wanted to be a part of this. Cornelia, I think you're next.
Oh, okay. My name is Cornelia Maxted. I'm an occasional volunteer at the museum. Retired, and recently I've been putting some time into archiving my father and grandfather's paintings. They were both artists. And so I've been looking back through books and some museum sites and such, and nearly finished with that project, and this seems like the perfect next one to go on to. And next on my screen is Heather. So, and then let's see, and then September Krueger.
Good morning, my name is September, and I'm part of the staff here at the museum just recently. And I'm an artist from the area and a teacher for many years now. And I've just been enchanted by the work that, Stephen has here with the sculpture project. So thinking of being able to be part of this and of uncovering these men, it's just very, very intriguing to me. And I have a family member who's deeply interested in genealogy. So learning some of these tools is really, really interesting to me. I'm sorry. And so I'm next to Devin and Heather. So Devin, yeah.
Hi, I'm Devin Kelly. I have been working with the Cameron for the past year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, on working on just doing background research in order to make this dream a reality. I currently work at the Cape Fear Museum as a collections and research assistant. And next to me is TJ.
Yes. Hi, I'm TJ. I'm from International School at Gregory, and last year I taught 8th grade social studies and language arts and American history last year, so very excited and maybe get more students involved with this.
You're all done. You got it.
And I am next to, let's see, I think Sally.
Next we need to do.
Sally, can you introduce yourself next? Oh, you're muted. Oh, Sally, you're muted. Let's see. There you go.
Okay. Thank you for unmuting me. I'm Sally Myers. My husband is a docent and volunteer at UNC at Cameron. He taught at UNCW. I'm a retired teacher and have been doing ancestry for probably 20 years. So I'm really interested in this project. It's always fun to expand my horizons. And I have no idea who I'm next to because my screen doesn't have anybody up there.
Oh.
Simone, on my screen, you're next. You want to go next?
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Simone Mills Allen, and I am on the Cape Fear Jazz Society board, and I'm also the bouncer at the Cameron Art Museum for the concerts. And I'm on the committee for the U.S. Colored Troops, and I'm very excited about it because my sister has really done a lot of research, as has my whole family in our background. So she's on Ancestry.com, and she always says, go look on that. Here's my password, and I don't know what to do. So I really want to help Stephen to get, I want the whole project to just come together so we'll be ready next year. That's it.
Thank you, Simone. Let's see. Kelly's next on my screen. Kelly, you want to go?
Sure, good morning. It's nice to meet everybody. My name is Kelly Oakley. I teach social studies at Murray Middle School. And a few years back, I taught 8th grade social studies, and we did some projects with the race riots of the 1898. And it was really interesting, and I would just love to be a part of uncovering some beautiful history about where we live. I think that's wonderful, and this is just such an exciting opportunity. I look forward to working with everybody.
Camille, you're next on my screen.
Camille?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Camille Anderson. I formerly wrote for a magazine called Intercoastal Living, and I did a story down at the museum about the Minnie Evans, the artist, and her collection there at the museum. And I've done a few other things connected to the museum here in Wilmington. And since I've been here, I've been off and on down here for about 10 years, but since I've been down here full time, I've decided to get involved in some of the local cultural activities. I'm working with the Rice Festival here in the area in Brunswick County. And I had previously was very interested in finding out more about the Colored Troops, the statue and the artist who's doing it, and the work that's being done to commemorate their actions here in Wilmington, and just the history of Wilmington, which is something that was kind of hidden for so long for me. And my family has some North Carolina collections that I'm hoping to uncover that might be related to some of this, the USCT. So, you know, I'm just very interested and excited about this project. I'm also speaking on behalf of Sharon Middleton, who's my partner, who's wanted to be here, but she'll be participating as well. So we're interested. And I also previously worked with the Moreland Spingarn collection in Washington, D.C. at Howard University. So we did a lot of archival research and archival awareness activities in DC. So this is kind of in line with what I've been doing for most of my career, but just very interested to work with everyone down here and just help to uncover some of this information that's been hidden so long.
We're so glad you're here. Andy, you're next on my screen.
Hello, my name is Andy Rogers, and I currently am a 8th grade, American history teacher at Noble Middle School. And I just thought this sounded like a, very interesting project to help out with, and something that, might be able to incorporate, get some good knowledge on, events that happened in our area, and maybe be able to, incorporate that in what I do with 8th graders in American history.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Anya, you're next on my screen.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm Anya, and I'm a middle grade teacher at Holly Shelter Middle, and just really excited to be part of this, to learn more, and to help out with just revealing more of history. So just excited.
Awesome. Ava, you're next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Ava Baker, and a recent transplant to Wilmington, North Carolina. I serve on the United States Colored Troops Committee and have enjoyed it. I have a lot of experience working on Ancestry.com, researching my family background. Professionally, I'm an adjunct professor at Bowie State University in Maryland, and particularly focused on human growth and development. So this is very much up my line, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone to bring this project to completion.
Thank you, Ava. Vicki, you're next on my screen.
Hi, good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
Vicki Elam. I am a Tennessee transplant. I've been here about 10 years. I am a member of the Brunswick Town chapter of the DAR. I love ancestry and I love researching genealogy. And presently I am working on my 12th Patriot. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this group.
We're so glad you're here. Jean, you're my last person.
Heather, there are two Jeans on my screen. It's a Jean Green and a Jean.
There are two Jeans on my screen too. Jean, you want to introduce yourself? All right.
Heather, you did unmute her. Maybe she doesn't know.
Yeah, I tried.
Oh.
Jean, you're muted. If you'd like to introduce yourself, we're all ears. Oh. Hi, Jean. All right. Well, Jean, if you can say hello to us, that would be great. Otherwise, let's go ahead and mute ourselves, and Devin's going to get started with the presentation. And Devin, if you could tell us a little bit about the research you've done, what you've uncovered, and what the next steps are, that would be wonderful.
Great. Yeah, it's really nice to meet everyone. Thank you all for being here today. This is really exciting. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and start this PowerPoint. All right. Okay. So the website, so what I've been doing to begin with, I first got involved in this project just trying to do some background research on the USCT, just in order for to aid the Cameron in getting a grant for this great sculpture that they want to put up. I uncovered, I just gave some background research on what Wilmington was like at the time, how slavery worked in Wilmington, and just a little bit on the backgrounds of each of the brigades that fought at the Battle of Forks Road. Some of you know, we'll actually get into this. Battle of Forks Road was a small skirmish between the Union and Confederate forces February 20th through the 21st, 1865 in Wilmington, North Carolina, where the Cameron resides now. Wilmington was the Confederacy's last major city and a lifeline supplies for its armies, which had been severed when the Union Army took Fort Fisher. And it stopped the blockade runners from delivering supplies to the Confederate troops. So after that, General Lee could not sustain his army, and shortly after that, the Civil War was over. Heather, can you give me a thumbs up that my screen is sharing okay? Okay, great, thank you. So one of the things that we wanted to, one of our goals early on was to find the names of the 1,600 men who fought at the Battle of Forks Road. I went through a few different ways of trying to find those names. I had anticipated or hoped maybe that there would be muster rolls from maybe even the month before the battle, maybe even a couple months before the battle, that had an entire list of names. Unfortunately, those records don't exist. A lot of you expressed that you have experience using Ancestry.com. The website that we'll be using is fold3.com. It's Ancestry powered. And so because of that, it's set up to find individuals and not groups. So it's hard to find a list of an entire group. It's really just set up to find individuals. So what we have to go through is each individual who could have been there. So we're going to go through the regiments that we know were at the Battle of Forks Road and go through each individual's paperwork, which is just very time consuming. And that's why it's very exciting that everyone wants to be a part of this. So our main goal is to prove that each individual that we're looking at was in the units that we know fought at least until February 1865. And so I'll be going through this and showing you how the methods that I found work best. And at the end, we'll have time for questions. And I also included my contact information. So if you're going through this and really get stuck, you can always contact me. So that's where we're going. So when Fold 3, again, works a lot like Ancestry. So if you have a little bit of Ancestry background, that is very helpful. But when you log on to fold3.com, your homepage looks like this. Okay. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go down to Browse Military Records by War and go to Civil War and then browse all Civil War titles. And again, I have this all on a PDF that I'll send out. So this will be available to you as well as this presentation.
Devin, I have a question for you. Can you tell everyone how to get to Fold 3?
It's www.fold3.com. And then you just need a password. I believe if you have an Ancestry password, it's just a little bit of an upgrade. And I know that Heather, you discussed getting a Cameron login that you can share with people.
And right now you can use it for free through the New Hanover Public Library, correct?
You can use Ancestry for 3.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, because we are all in our homes, if you go to the New Hanover County Library and then go to databases and then go to Ancestry, you can access it from your home right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so you go
Devin?
to, yes?
I have a question. Do you know if that's the same for Brunswick County Libraries? I live in Leland.
I don't know that. I would think so, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, I'll check on it.
Yeah. If you contact your library, they should be able to lead you through that. All right. So yeah, so you're just going to click on go to Fold 3, log in, and then like I said, just www.fold3.com. You're going to click on Civil War and then browse all Civil War titles. This will show up next. So you're still on Civil War. And then the next thing you're going to publication. This has a list of quite a few things, but the one that you're going to want to choose is Civil War service records. And that's the service records of everyone who fought in the Civil War. That will give you 2 categories, Confederate records and Union records, and you're going to want to select Union records. Once you select Union records, the next thing that will show up will be publication here. So if you notice, the categories just keep expanding here. So you choose Civil War, service records, Union records, and then you're going to choose colored troops. And once you choose that, some of these things will move away, but you can still always use this button to go back to see where you came from. But once you choose colored troops, it has the publication and the military units. So 2nd through 7th Infantry is going to have all of those on them. From there, it is set up alphabetically and by infantry number. So this has 1 through 7, and because there's so many names, they had to split up the last names alphabetically. And you choose whichever infantry you want to look at, whatever names you want to look at. And it gives you a few options. The unit information is a little bit helpful in giving background information on just like what the unit did. It's not something it's nice for your own information, but in finding individuals for the goals of this project, it's not completely necessary. It's nothing that you'd have to really write down, but it is very helpful in just understanding what you're looking at. And then that's what the unit information looks like. It's just a couple pages. And this is all powered, it's powered by Ancestry, but it's all the Library of Congress records that are digitized. And from there you can choose A, B, and then it gives you a list of names. I used an example. Check my notes real quick. So I chose an example of someone that we know we would know a lot about. Some of you will definitely recognize this name. We had a Medal of Honor recipient fight at the Battle of Forks Roads. His name was Powhatan Beatty, and he fought in the 5th USCT. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples of documents you might find and how to read them and how they might help you. So something that you might come across is a muster roll. This is an enlistment date, and you can see here some things to look out for are where he was born, occupation, but really the thing you can find here is his enlistment date and where he enlisted. So here it says he enlisted on June 7th, 1863 in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's some great information you can find right there. I'm gonna go to the next slide where we highlight some more information. So other things to look out for, occupation, age, any interesting remarks. Now this doesn't have the date on it, but it is very helpful in finding biological information. It's also just very interesting. Helps you tell a really good story. Some things you can see here is that he was, oh, sorry. Yeah, you can see his occupation, which it's a little hard to read sometimes, so I included some resources in how to read old handwriting, but I believe that says farmer, and it also tells you that he was born in Richmond, his eyes are dark, his hair is dark, he was 5'7" tall, and he was 24 when he enlisted. Yeah, and here you can see he was enlisted in the 5th USCT. Okay. Other things you might find are, this is another example of a muster roll. So a muster roll was just showing that an individual was still in the Army. So this shows us that he was still a member of the USCT in January and February of 1865. That means that he was almost certainly present at the Battle of Forks Road. So this is something that we're really going to be looking for. Our goal is just to prove that an individual was present in February 1865 in the units that we know fought in the battle. So this is really it. This is what we're looking for. It also, some other remarks, it shows that Powhatan was freed on or before April 19th, 1861, which is also just really interesting information and shows that he fought as a free man in the USCT in this battle. And another example of some paperwork you may find, this is an example of a muster out roll. So this is when he stopped being in the Army. This is when he was freed from the Army. It shows that he mustered out in Carolina City, North Carolina. And I believe that was the coast of North Carolina. And I'm gonna even bet that it was close to Wilmington, but I'm not, it's a little confusing. Towards the end of the war too, they stopped keeping as detailed records. So it's a little difficult to go through sometimes. But it also shows that he left the USCT on September 20th, 1865, and it shows that he was paid until April of that year. It also shows that he has a medal awarded by Congress for gallantry in action in September 29th, 1864, and you can see that under remarks. And then again, under remarks, it also reiterates that he was freed on or before April 19th, 1861. So these are just examples of things that you would find. This is an example of someone that we knew about and also knew was present, but it we knew that it would have the most examples of paperwork that you would find. It would have the most muster rolls. Not every individual is going to be as well documented, but this is the kind of documents that you will be looking at. Going forward, again, just to reiterate, you're looking for proof that an individual is present and accounted for in February 1865. If you wanted to find out what happened to these individuals after the war, Ancestry is a good place to look. It's likely that you can infer the individual's date of birth based on their muster enroll, and that helps you to find them on census records, marriage records. It can tell you where they ended up, and that's just also very interesting if you're looking for that. And then another main thing is to ensure that you're citing your source correctly. I can show you the Excel spreadsheet that I put together of the list of 5,000 or so names that I gathered up of people who could be there. Citing your source correctly, I would say the best way to do that is just taking the link that proves that the individual was there and putting it into the spreadsheet. And so I can show you that at the end of this. I've also included some other resources. This is a skill I've had to cultivate just from reading old records. Ancestry put together an article on tips for reading old handwriting, just because even now we don't use handwriting even as much now, and we don't use cursive as much, and handwriting has changed a lot in the past 150 some odd years. Fold 3 also has some resources. If you're hitting a snag, they're always helpful just to go to the source and see what they say. They have a list of frequently asked questions, and it's just a nice resource in case you ever get stuck. And then also my contact information is here if you get really stuck or you're not sure what you're looking at, or just want to chat about something you found. Email is the best way to reach me, but I've also included my phone number just in case. And I believe that's it. I will go ahead and Heather, do you think the next best thing would be for me to go through the Excel spreadsheet I've put together? Excellent. Okay. Great. So this is what I've spent the last few months doing. As you can see, so I did the 4th Regiment, even though that wasn't present, it was just something I started on for practice. The ones we're really gonna be looking for, I'm gonna scroll down. So you can see this is a list of quite a few men. Keep going. So the 5th right here, and all I have is just names and last names, first names. And you can see something I came across is that a lot of people have the same last name. So that's something to look out for. I don't have an example handy, but there are a few people. Oh, wait, actually I do. So there are 2 John Harrises. So that's also something to look out for. And then when you do come across like 2 people with the same name, try to look for a date of birth. So if they have the same date of birth, that probably means they're the same person. They're just, their things got split up somehow. But if they have different dates of birth or like wildly different information, it does mean that they just had the same name. Yeah, so this is the list of, yeah, I would say if I scroll all the way down, it might take a minute, but yeah, I've got a list of over 5,000 individuals that could be there. Yeah, about what was that? Yeah, so I guess we ended up on 5,531 individuals that could be there. So like I said, this is a massive undertaking, and it's unfortunate that, and it's fortunate for individuals that it's set up to find individual people, but when you're taking a project on like this, it just becomes very time consuming. I have set up this spreadsheet just to help tell you what we're looking for. Date enlisted is listed here, and location enlisted just for biographical purposes, and it's something, if you find it, that's great. Date mustered out and location mustered out would also be helpful. And then citation here. And then, oh, you know what? Here we go. Forgot to add this, I'm so sorry. Say present at 4th Road and proof. So that's where you put your citation of the muster roll that proves that they were there. Okay. And yeah, all of this will be made available to you, including the PowerPoint, and also I made it into a PDF that's easier to print and read as well. Heather, I'm going to kick it back over to you and see if anyone had any questions. I can stop sharing my screen too.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Not what we anticipated. We went into this, some historians were telling us that it would be easier to find the names. But we really want to uncover these men's identities, and we are so grateful that you're interested in helping us to do this. So if you're still interested after hearing all of this, I will send you an email. I know, Simone. I feel like we should start everybody out with maybe 10 names, so you can just get the feel of it and make sure that this is something you're reading. Old handwriting is hard. Devin's amazing. I thought that said he was a turner, not a farmer. So what I'll do, if you could shoot me an email after this, you all have my email address, and just say, yes, I want to help. I want to do this. I'll send you the PDF, so you have the instructions, and I will send you just 10 names. We'll just cut that spreadsheet so everybody gets 10, and you can kind of cut your teeth on that. You know, the sculpture will be installed next November 2021. Ideally, we would like to have the list of names on the back of that sculpture then. So we would, to get the bronze done, we would need to have this list complete 6 months before installation would be great. So we need to work quickly, but it's a lot. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. If you want to type your questions in the chat box, that would be great. I know a lot of you have experience with this. Camille, you have experience. Sally, I'd love to hear your perspective. Again, we're just so grateful. We are so grateful to you for your interest.
So Heather, you say you're going to send a list of 10 names each, but then how many volunteers do you have?
Right now, you guys are it.
Oh, so.
And we'll start.
We'll end up doing more than 10, obviously, so.
Yes, we'll start with 10 and you see how that feels. And if this is, if it's easy for you to do, we'll send you more. You can do as many as you want.
Okay.
TJ had a question. Let me see. TJ says, I got confused about how the New Hanover County Library pertains to accessing the records. It sounds like I was hoping that New Hanover County had a subscription to Fold 3, but it sounds like they don't, correct, Devin?
Yeah, that's correct. They just have the access to Ancestry.
Okay.
Yeah, and although Fold 3 is powered by Ancestry, it does require a different subscription. So that was just some other information. If you were interested in using Ancestry, you can access it for free through the New Hanover County Library right now. Usually you'd have to be on site.
But you guys don't have to purchase Fold 3. The museum will do that, and I'll send you all a password, a username and password. And we hope that we won't get caught that we're all using the same username and password. Jean says, I'm a member of the Brunswick Town Daughters of the American Revolution. I live in Leland and looking forward to working with you. We're looking forward to working with you, Jean. We're so grateful for folks who have this kind of experience and know-how and are ready to help. Any more questions or comments? Just, how you're feeling about this, what you think about the project?
Yeah. For people who start to look at names, about how long do you think how much time should be allocated towards each name that we're looking up?
Devin?
Hours?
I think it will vary case by case, and I think you'll know once. I think Heather's suggestion of just starting with 10 is a very good one. Going through Powhatan's took me, and like I said, he's very well documented. So I would maybe an hour, but it's really up to you. I would start slow. This is a skill that you have to learn how to use. So once you start going through the records, it will become faster. But I think the main thing is just making sure we have the right names. So however long it takes you.
Thank you. And one other question. What happens if we come across a name where we just can't find any information?
In that case, you just, that would be something to just write, you know, we don't have the information. We don't want to include, because it's going to be put in bronze, we want to make sure we're entirely right, which is why going through each name is so important. So if you can't find any information, that's something that happens a lot. And it's just unfortunate. That's how we actually came to this part of the project. Was I anticipated and was told that these records existed that were lists of entire people. And then it just turns out those records aren't found. If they do exist, they're not accessible. And so that's just why, that's why history is always changing. And that's why you come across new information all the time. And history is constantly growing and changing. And it's part of the game, which is unfortunate, but it also makes it very exciting.
So Vicky asked, after clicking on tab Civil War Service and 2nd and 7th troops, these are troops that fought in Forks Road?
The ones that I have on my spreadsheet are the 1st, 5th, and 37th, and those are 3 that we know were at present. So I just use 2nd through 7th for an example, because that's how you get to the 5th. But yeah, it's going to be the 1st, 5th, and 37th are the ones that we are focusing on right now.
Devin, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the research, excuse me, you uncovered? Devin went a little bit deeper into one man's story. Do you want to, was that John Suggs? Was that his name?
Oh yeah, let me pull that up shortly. I'm sorry. If you want to deal with any questions before that, I did not have that pulled up. Give me one moment.
Okay. Any more questions? And again, if you know anybody else who would be interested in this project, we'd love their help. It's going to be a big team effort to get this done. I'm reaching out to the African American Historical Commission in North Carolina, and I'm hoping maybe they can help too.
Yeah, and one thing I discussed it. A lot of you know Chris Fonville. When I was having snags and trouble, I reached out to him and I was like, is there any better way to do this than this very time-consuming way? And essentially what he said is no, and that's why no one's ever done it before. That's why we don't have them yet. So yeah, let me pull up what I have on John Suggs.
But Devin, you have to tell everybody who Chris is.
Oh, Chris Fonville is a historian of the Lower Cape Fear. He was a professor at UNC Wilmington. He taught me in undergrad in the history of the Lower Cape Fear in Wilmington. So he's very involved in a lot of local history. You'll see him around almost every time you hear the words local history in Wilmington put together.
Devin, is he the one that published the book recently? Or not recently, but he published the book on the Forks Road?
Yes, that's him. Yes, so he did literally write the book on it. Okay, yeah, so I did do some digging in the initial research when I wasn't really sure what we were looking for. And I came across this man called John Suggs. He fought in Company A of the USCT. He was born in Greene County, North Carolina, and he enlisted in January 16th, 1864 in Washington, North Carolina. After his service, he lived in Wilmington, so he settled there afterwards. And in the 1870 census, he was listed as 23 years old. He was a laborer in Wilmington. He was married in 1880. He had 2 daughters and was listed as a lighterman. And so it's unclear if his family still resides in Wilmington. That would require a little bit more research, but that was someone that I found that enlisted in North Carolina, fought in the Civil War, and then came back and lived in Wilmington.
And Devin, can you tell everyone what a lighterman is?
A lighterman is someone who just lights up the the street lights at night.
And one of our, our other dreams is to have a homecoming. We would love to extend this further and connect with the descendants of these people. So that's let's get the names first, and then we'll see where we can go after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns that I can address right now?
About how many soldiers were there at the Battle for? I mean, about how many people are we looking to identify?
So, yeah.
The number that I have been told and the number that is generally consensus agreed upon is 1,600.
And Devin, do you know where that number came from?
I got that number from Chris Fonville, and he got it from a letter from Colonel Wright.
Okay.
Who led the battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the battle was only 2 days? All those people? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And how
yeah,
many
that was kind of their march from Fort Fisher into Wilmington. It was one of the last Confederate holdouts.
Devin, do you remember how many casualties? Was it about 40?
I believe so.
Yeah, 35 to 40. I mean, they don't really know, but that's what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Among the USCT troops?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, that is the goal. Yeah, is just taking that big list and then bringing it down. The way I got those 5,000 names is just by going through and writing down every single person that was ever present. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And we do know that a lot of people joined the USCT after the battle. There was an influx into the USCT in Wilmington after the fall of Wilmington. When the USCT came into town, they were the heroes, and a lot of people enlisted after they arrived. We are so grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. I think this will be really exciting. You never know what we might uncover. And for those of you who are teachers, if there's any way you want to work this into your work with your students, just let us know. Let me and September know, and September's our Director of Lifelong Learning. And we'll see what we can do. We would love for young people to know this story in particular. It's such an important story for our community.
So what are we going to get together, like at a certain frequency, maybe 3 weeks?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Updates or something.
Okay. Do you guys want to get together in a month? And,
that's good.
Okay. Do you want to pick it, or do you want to pick a date now, or do you want me just to email you? Who knows where we'll be, right, in a month?
I know. Let's go with August the 10th, and then we'll work from there.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds good to me. And again, if all of you would just email me, if you're still interested after hearing all of this, just say, yes, I'm in, and I'll send you 10 names to get started. And we're all gonna hit questions as we get into it, and Devin can answer our questions, and we will just get through this together, and hopefully our group will grow.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna opt out.
I don't think so either.
Let's take a vote. I'm staying in. Everybody who wants to stay in, vote. Okay, see? There you go.
Yeah, thank you everyone so much for being here. And again, I'm available for questions, comments, concerns, anything that arises, please contact me.
Awesome, thank you, Devin. Yeah. And just so you
guys know, Devin.
So Wednesday of next week, I'm talking with Stephen Hayes, the artist, via Zoom. And I'm sorry, you can hear my cat crying, but it's at 6:30 next Wednesday. The event is on Facebook, and we love to see all of you there.
Oh, okay.
I've got it on my calendar.
Great.
I invited a bunch of people too.
Good, good. Well, so many people are interested. We had to change the format. It was gonna just be a meeting like this, but we've changed it to a webinar, and it'll be great. We're excited. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Overwhelmed by your support. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice to meet
Anna.
you.
Nice to meet everybody.
Absolutely.